Once your layout is complete, you're ready to start placing your components onto your board. So we're going to look for a second at what components should look like when they're placed onto a board. So we'll start out with a resistor. Now we're going to try and follow the same layout that you had on your breadboard, and we're going to now transfer that onto this board here. So let's say, for example, that this resistor is supposed to go across these two holes here like this. And that's going to match the layout of what you had on your breadboard. Now, if we leave this component way up in the air like this, there's a chance that it could get bent or damaged or connect to another conductor and cause a short circuit. So anytime we put a component into our board, we want it to sit nice and low down onto the board, just like that. Sometimes you got to bend the legs a little bit. Now, after you've placed it into the board where it sits nice and flat, just like that, your legs are going to be sticking out the bottom. If you tip this upside down, what often happens is the components will kind of loosen off and start to fall out. So a good way to keep that from happening is use one finger to press the component up against your board like a resistor, and then take these leads and just bend them slightly outwards, just like that, right down at the bottom where they connect to the copper. And then if you shake or move that, it should stay in place for you and it shouldn't fall out on you. Okay? When you're ready to place an LED into your board, we want to do the same thing. We don't want our LEDs sticking way up in the air. Okay, instead, we're going to get them nice and low down to the board, press it down with your finger, and then come right down to the base of that lead. And we're just going to slightly bend it out, just like that. And then what that'll do is hold our LED in place, so even if it flips upside down, your component is going to stay where it's supposed to. The last one we're going to look at is a transistor. Now remember, your transistor has 3 leads, just like that. And we don't want to bend our leads up too much on our transistor. We want it to be going to 3 holes that are nice and close to each other. You might have to just slightly widen the legs out. So just like I did there. And if our transistor is going to go right here, we're just going to set it into the holes just like that. And you won't be able to press this one all the way down just based on the spacing of the legs, but get it fairly low. Something like that would look nice. Okay, so it is sitting up a little bit up out of the board, but if we bend it any further, we're going to start to stress that place where the component leads meet with the head of the transistor. Now I'm just going to come on the bottom here and just slightly widen out these legs a little bit, and that'll keep it from falling out if we flip the board upside down. So that's what our components should look like on the top of our board as we place them. Be careful with where you're placing your components. Make sure that it's going to match the location that you've laid out on your breadboard.